I've got a prototype of the soon-to-be released balance board, or BP1, from Briffidi.com. The balance board itself is fairly compact. It comes in two pieces that are put together fairly small. I'd probably say it's about 2.5 inches by 10 inches by an inch and a half. You'll also need a set of scales, and you'll also need a cell phone, and you'll need to load the BP1 app on your cell phone. To use the balance board now, the first thing you're going to have to do is weigh the racket. Sometimes you can just stand the racket up on your scale, and I've got 347.87 grams. Sometimes you can't do that, so what I do is I take the case itself that the scales come in, lay it on my scale, and then tear it out, and then put my racket on that on the scale. The reason I use the scale here is because sometimes the racket itself, the center of mass, is not at a point right here that'll fit on there and balance, so sometimes it won't sit on there just quite right. You get a lot of different readings. I got 347.86, so it's only 1/100th of a gram difference. The next thing I want to do now is take my balance board and put it together. All I have to do is pop it apart, put the two pieces together. Then make sure you open up the supports for the head of the racket, because it'll give you a different reading if you don't. Then I put it on my scale all the way up against the scale and then back it off just a little bit. Then I tear the scale, so I got a 0 reading. Then I'll lay the racket on it, make sure that I put the racket up against the stop and that I've got the racket centered on the scale. Now I'm reading 44.72 grams. That's all I need the scale for. Now comes the easy part. First thing I have to do is open up the app. Well, I guess the first thing I have to do is download the app. Once I've got the app open, I've got two different tabs on here. I've got a measure tab and I've got a settings tab. I'm going to go to the settings tab first. Up here at the top, it's got the distance from the handle support and the distance to the head support. This is the distance from the ball support to the racket stop on the balance board. These figures up here you probably never want to change. I'd leave them alone. If you do accidentally change them, you can come down here to reset to all defaults. Also, it shows the balance to the nearest 1/10 of a centimeter and the input mass to the nearest 1/10 of a centimeter. I'm going to change this to 1/100th of a centimeter and inputs to 1/100th of a gram. Then I've got show points in head light or head heavy. I don't ever use those figures. All I use is the distance from the butt of the racket to the center of mass or to the balance point. So I'm just going to leave that off. I'll put it on since I got a 27-inch racket just so you can see what it actually comes to. Then once I've got that done, I'll go back to the measure page. I had a weight of 347.87 for my total weight, so all I have to do is take these and put it to 347.87, and then I've got a handle weight, or the support weight, of 44.72. Raise this up to, whoops, I went too far, 44.72, Then I've got my balance point of 31.76 centimeters, or it is 8 points headlight. I'll put a link in the description to the Briffidi.com website. When these do become available, if you'd like to buy one, you can go on there and get you one, or you can probably just go on there and look to see when they become available. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. I'll also put a link in the description to the scales that I use. If you'd like, you can get them on Amazon.com. I think they're about $12, $13, something like that. Fairly cheap scales. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching my video.